And I'm back, and I'm happy to see you are there too. And if it's the first time you've joined us, welcome. We have got story time almost every single day. Please subscribe, and then you will be able to hear the new stories as they come out. The story we're reading today is called Who's Afraid of the Dark? It's written by Dianne Stewart, and the illustrations are by Joan, Rankin. Are you afraid of the dark? I have been afraid of the dark in the past, but not anymore. Look at that. Who's afraid of the dark? Sanele was afraid of the dark. She did not like to see night cover the earth like a blanket. I'm afraid, Sanele cried to her mother. It's so dark in my room, and there are monsters under my bed. Oh, look at that. When it gets dark, she thinks it's like a blanket covering the earth. And here she's saying, there are monsters under my bed. Do you think there really are monsters, or is she just imagining that? Let's have a look at that again. Whoa, that is quite a scary monster, isn't it? No, child, said her mother, bending over to look under the bed. There's nothing there, Sanele. Only dust. No monsters. I'll leave the light on for you. Now go to sleep. But Sanele was still afraid of the dark and couldn't sleep. Look at Sanele's mother, bending down to see what is under the bed, and all she could see was dust. And there she's leaving a lamp on for Sanele so that it's not totally dark in the bedroom. The next night there was a great storm, and while lying awake, Sanele heard tapping at the window. Mama, come quick! There's someone at my window! Oh dear, that does sound quite scary. Look how dark it is outside. And then she hears tapping at her window. Her mother opened the curtains and looked into the night. It's just a branch scraping against the window. Tomorrow I'll cut off that branch from the avocado tree, she said. I'll help you, said Sanele. Still, Sanele was afraid of the dark. For hours she tossed and turned in her bed before she fell asleep. There's her mum looking out the window, and she sees the branch of the avo tree scraping against the window, and Sanele on this side tossing and turning, struggling to fall asleep. The next night, Sanele had just drifted off to sleep when she heard the sound of a lion roaring in the house. Mama, come quick, come quick, she shouted. There's a lion in the house. Oh, look at that. That is a big, fierce-looking lion, isn't it? Sanele's mother was smiling when she came into the room. Don't be afraid, Sanele. It's just your father snoring, she laughed. There's no lion in this house. Still, Sanele was afraid of the dark and couldn't sleep. There's her mom explaining to her that the sound that Sanele thought was the lion was really just her father's snores. But Sanele is still struggling to sleep. The night after that, Sanele did not want to go to bed and begged her mother to let her stay up later. But her mother said, I'll sit by your side and hold your hand until you go to sleep. I did this when your older sister could not sleep." With her hand resting in her mother's warm fingers, Sanele fell asleep, but she woke later. "Mama, I'm scared," she cried, going into her parents' bedroom. There's her mum, telling Sanele that she'll hold her hand until she falls asleep. But of course, once she fell asleep, the mum went to her own bed. And there's Sanele. After she woke up, she went to her parents' bed and said, "I'm scared." In the morning, Sanele, her mother, and a neighbor were drinking tea in the kitchen. "My cat has just had kittens," said the neighbor. "I can't keep them. I'll have to give them away." Sanele's eyes sparkled. "Please, can I have a kitten, Mama?" Her mother frowned and then smiled. "Oh, all right then," she said. Oh, look at that. The ladies having tea and a chat, and Sanele heard about the kittens, and her mom says yes, she can have one of the kittens. Sanele chose a tiny black kitten from her neighbor's litter of kittens. Look at the mommy cat there with how many kittens are there? I think there are 1, 2, 3. I can see 3 kittens there. A spotty one, a black one, and a gingery stripy one. And Sanele chose the little black kitten. From then on, Sanele's black kitten slept beside her on her bed. "My cat's my best friend," she said excitedly. "When I can't sleep at night, I reach out and hold him." Do you know what, Mama? With my kitten next to me, I fall asleep easily. Look at Sanele here, fast asleep with her kitten at her hand. And Sanele telling her mum that with her kitten she falls fast asleep easily and she's no longer afraid of the dark. And there she is outside at night with, that looks like a puppy dog, not a kitten, but she's no longer afraid of the dark. Have you ever been afraid of the dark? Have you heard sounds that made you afraid and then you realized that it was just something really silly? I've also heard those sounds, and it can make you really afraid. But normally we are quite safe in our houses, and the sounds that we're hearing are not at all what our imaginations are telling us they are. What did Sanele's imagination tell her? It told her that there was a monster under her bed. Oh boy! And then she imagined, what else did she imagine? That there was somebody knocking at the door, at the window. In the meantime, it was just the branch of the tree scraping against the window. And then when she heard a loud roaring sound, she thought it was a lion. But of course it only was her dad snoring like a lion. But luckily, once Sanele had the little kitten to sleep with, she slept soundly every night. And she was no longer afraid of the dark. Is it your bedtime now? If it is, I need you to shut your eyes and dream beautiful dreams. No monsters, no lions, and nobody knocking at your window. Thank you for joining me for this story. It was great reading it to you. and I'll be back tomorrow. Bye-bye, everybody. Good to see you. Bye-bye, Serena. Mwah.